So we here, y'all. He chilling. First time. He ain't tripping.
First and last.
Right. We made it. Kayne, we made it. It's a nice little place. Yes. Okay. Kayne, now wait. Kayne want to take the initiative. He about to get signed in. Sit. He's doing pretty good for his first time. You got a cat right there. You know, nice people. So. No, sit. So yeah, I'll touch back down with y'all, let y'all know what's going on.
Good, right?
Lady walked up. He ain't drink too much water today. He ate a little bit, but so we still waiting while we watch animals. So Kayne heading to the back. Oh yeah. Look at it. He's being lazy. Look at the lady picked him up. Big baby. They had to bring him back because he wouldn't. She had to put a muzzle on him just for safety reasons, his and hers. All right, I'll keep y'all updated. Oh, look, how you doing, sir?
Good, how are you?
Okay.
Good right here. I'm Dr. Esther, nice to meet you. So I took a look at Kayne, and I said he got through like a window.
Yeah.
It's like a door or window?
The front door is a door with square glass.
Got it, yeah.
So somebody knocked at the door. He came, bust through the bottom part. So yeah.
And that happened yesterday?
Yeah.
Okay. And he's got any medications?
No, he's not.
Nothing. Has he been looking at it at all?
Yeah, he was. So I bashed him up last night. He didn't mess with it at all last night. But this morning, after I took him outside, he came back in and started looking at it. Trying to take the back.
Any limping at all?
Yeah, on the right one. And I think it's because I got the tape. Because at first he wasn't. I didn't even know he was cut at first. And then we seen the blood, and then he started licking. So
yeah. So I kind of already repaired it.
Okay.
But we'll talk about our options.
Okay.
Just because he was already in a position, I was like, I'm just going to do it now, and then we can just remove it if we don't want it.
Okay.
So he has 2 big lacerations on the left kind of arm.
Okay.
So like 1 and 2. And I clipped it really well, I cleaned it, I flushed it, and I just stapled it.
Okay.
The other arm, it's so on the right arm, it's at the metacarpal region, so it's right at the palm, but not where he puts weight on.
Yeah.
It's above that area.
Okay.
So it's kind of, well, in humans it's harder to see because the anatomy is different, but it's kind of in this region, like right here.
Okay.
But his pad is here. So the digits are kind of like this. I can show you. So all the weight bearing is here.
Okay.
His lacerations are about here.
Okay.
And it's on the back part as well.
Okay.
And the other one is on the arm above the hop.
Okay.
Above the on the arm below the elbow.
Okay.
So with lacerations, staples oftentimes work well. It's easy because you don't have to sedate them. It stings a little bit, but they could do it awake, and we already did it.
Okay.
Before starting all of that, I did give him some methadone, which is
Pain
medication,
Okay.
and just to calm him down. And he
Okay.
was already lateral,
Right.
and he was kind of resting, and so I was already there. I was okay. He's a little bit anxious. I'll just do it all at once.
Okay.
So stapling is a decent option. Sometimes they fall, and sometimes they don't heal very well. But oftentimes we do them, and in his case, his lacerations were very, very sharp, and they were like somewhat deep, but not terribly deep.
Okay.
And I think it may work okay.
Okay.
The other alternative is to completely sedate him and suture all of that up. And if we'd like to do that, they can just remove all these staples. That's not a big deal.
Okay.
So options are either just continue with the staples, and hopefully that will heal well. And definitely we'll send you home with some pain medication.
Okay.
Definitely we'll send you home with antibiotics because it's for sure infected.
Okay.
And also we'll send you home with some anti-anxiety medications
Okay.
because I assume he's very active at home,
Yeah.
and he needs 2 weeks of full rest.
Rest. Okay.
So we're talking about rest.
So it'd be like sedation medicine or.
Yeah, it's called trazodone.
Okay.
It's an anti-anxiety medication. It's not sedative. I don't know. Some dogs it doesn't do anything to them.
Okay.
Some dogs actually do the opposite. They're more anxious.
Okay.
But most dogs are fine, and we use it oftentimes after surgery when we want them to rest.
Okay.
So it's kind of up to you. Cost-wise, if we end up doing the sedation and the repair, and it's between $800 to $1,200.
Okay.
As opposed to whatever we did here, I don't really charge you much for it. Just the clip and clean, which is about $60.
Okay.
Not including the exam and medication. So I think at the end of the day, probably going to be around $300.
Okay. So yeah, we'll see how the staples go. If it's not working out, I'll just bring them back.
Sounds good. Yeah. And the other thing to consider, I think the left leg, because it's higher, I don't think he needs a bandage.
Okay.
The right leg, it's right at the gray zone where he may not need a bandage. The problem with bandages is that it requires care.
Yeah.
And then we have to change them periodically. It should be changed by a regular vet.
Okay.
He's not the greatest candidate
Yeah.
for restraint.
Right.
He did fine today, and he's not aggressive. He's just anxious.
Yeah.
He didn't show an ounce of aggression.
Right.
But he's just anxious. He may need to be sedated every time.
Right.
So I feel like since it's not on a weight-bearing surface and there's not that much tension, the bandage is not going to change the tension. The bandage is going to protect it from trauma.
Yeah. Okay.
But if he's going to jump and hit things
So they don't have like no sleeve or anything, or like a Velcro or anything you can put around it just to protect. It's nothing.
If you just put like a sock on, it's too thin. It's not going to do anything.
Yeah.
The bandage is
put
much
that on.
thicker.
Right. Yeah.
So it will protect that area a little bit. It's kind of up to you. I'm not sold on the bandage just because if he was more of a calm dog, yes.
Yeah. Right.
He also may rip the bandage.
Yeah,
And then if he gets soiled, you have to come and you have to repeatedly change it. It's not like you put it for a week and forget about it.
So is it anything like I need to put on the actual wound?
No, nothing.
Okay. All
So
right.
we'll send you home with gabapentin, which is a pain medication. It has a little bit of a sedative effect, so hopefully it will calm him down a little bit as well.
Okay.
And humans use it some for anxiety as well, back pain and stuff like that. So it's good for pain, but also calms them down a little bit.
Okay.
We'll send you home with carprofen, which is an NSAID. It's called for inflammation and pain.
Okay.
And just for a few days, like 5 days or so.
Okay.
And we'll help with the swelling. And I'll send you home with 2 weeks of antibiotics. And then the trazodone. Also, I'll send you home enough for 2 weeks. So you can play around with it. You don't have to give it all the time. But if needed, you can give it every 8 hours to keep them calm.
Okay.
And then activity restriction is the most important part.
Okay.
You already cleaned the wound, so you don't need to mess with the wound. If it's oozing a little bit, you can clean it
Okay.
with a little bit of like a washcloth or something like that. But yeah, I wouldn't put anything on it. The activity restriction is super important. So no jumping, no running, no off-leash activity. Just short leash walks in the house. In the house, no free roaming of the house.
Okay.
It needs to be either in a crate or closed in a room.
Okay.
And even more importantly, he needs to have a cone on.
Okay.
And I'll send you home with a cone.
Okay.
And the cone needs to be on all day.
Okay.
And some people, he sleeps without
Right.
it. No.
Yeah.
Even more importantly, when
Right.
you're sleeping,
Yeah.
please put the cone on. But I will put it all the time. even when he should be able to eat with the cone.
Okay.
And if he can't, then you can remove it. I would honestly just hold him on a leash while he's eating.
Well, I do have a tray that sits up off the floor, so maybe that'll help.
Yeah, I think that may help a little bit. Yeah, but a cone is super important. I feel like when my dog had surgery, and I fed her, and then I just literally 30 seconds. I just and then she ruined her entire incision.
Right. Yeah.
And
Okay.
it's fairly easy to chew these.
So I just keep it on, like you said.
Right, and if he runs and jumps, these staples will just pop out.
Okay.
And so very important to keep an eye on it. If they fall, at that point, I would just commit for a surgical repair. And surgical repair also has complications. It's the same activity restriction.
Right. Yeah.
The same discussion, bandage, no bandage. It's
Right.
basically the same thing.
Right.
It's just the closure is a little bit more accurate and a little bit more, I wouldn't say more secure. Maybe a little bit more secure.
Yeah.
It's just better closure. But he's young. It's not the skin edges are healthy. So it will heal fine.
Okay. So with the staple, you're saying that it's
I think it'll be fine. They just may fall out, and then if that's the case, we'll just then we'll just have to suture.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So I make sure I keep them. So is y'all gonna send them with the tranks today, or did y'all give them any? Y'all give him any of the anxiety stuff now?
We give him methadone, so that will calm him down.
Okay.
But for 8 hours, and it's also good for pain.
Okay.
And you can start with a trazodone if needed. You can start it when you get home.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
And all of that will be in writing for you.
All right.
And we'll send you home with all the medications and the cone.
Okay. All right. I appreciate it.
Do you have any questions for me?
Not at the moment. I'm just glad he's okay. So.
Yes.
All right. If you don't mind waiting in the lobby in the meantime, and then we'll get you out of here.
Okay, thank you.
Which way? Excuse me.
I'll just give you my lead. That's all right.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just gonna put
Everything. I mean, that's good. As long as he didn't hit no vital organs.
Yes.
And we're gonna see how the we'll see how the staples do. And if it don't work, then we'll have to go that route. But we know we can just keep a good eye on him so he won't be doing the wild jumping he likes to do down hills and all that. I'm gonna take him on short walks and let him sit around. So that's gonna be interesting. I don't really like giving my dogs medication of no type, but since he's in pain, I'll do it this time. I can take another one. So he's out. I had to put the thing on him. You see, he panting. That's what they talking about. He's anxious. I could tell in his eyes the way he looking. But I'm gonna try to get a good shot of his foot. Sit down. Look. He loved Daddy because he let me. Oh my gosh. So they had to cut some of the fur off. So I'm gonna be extra careful with him. I'm gonna make sure he doesn't do anything. And y'all heard the guy, he's got to keep his little. I was talking about this, and it might have been that getting him a satellite on his head. He'll get used to it. So he don't like it, but I'm just glad my boy okay. I keep y'all updated. So they got him some pain. Like he's sitting far away from me. Come here, boy. Yeah, okay, boy. All right, you guys. I'll stay tuned. Yeah, here go Kayne, the back of his leg. They stapled it. So that's the back part where he busts his paw through the door at the house. Because somebody knocked on it, he want to act crazy. Come here, boy. Come here. He don't like that thing on his head. You look nice with it, Kayne. It fits you. And then down here, you got staples. I'm trying to get it. So he'll be okay because we're gonna take care of him. Okay. Did you learn any lesson? I'm gonna see somebody knocking the door. He's still gonna act a fool, but I think I'm gonna put him. And it was crazy. I had him a crate. Well, I had him a cage crate that I got rid of. So I'm gonna have to buy him one of those plastic. I don't really like leaving them in there, you know, but I'm just probably get one like for when we leave. You know, he can't mess with it. He got his own little name tag. Kayne. So the doc just came and said, oh, okay. Him coming back here. Yeah, sit. Okay, sit. Oh, he's incoherent right now.
We're going to send home a trazodone. You're going to get 1 to 2 tablets by mouth every 8 to 12 hours as needed. That's it. Okay. He'll go into more detail down here. We have some carproken off known as Rividil. They're going to get 1 tablet by mouth every 12 hours for 5 days. Simple set. Vomiting or not eating, having significant diarrhea, dark black stool, very lethargic, otherwise significantly worsens, call to see veterinary care. See your primary veterinarian 10 to 14 days to have the staples removed, or sooner if there's a problem. That can also be done through ER if you can't get into the vet. Give the full dose of the trazodone and the double dose of the gabapentin, 2 capsules the night before and in the morning of his recheck appointment for a more smooth visit. Does that make sense? And that's what makes a calm visit. Does that make sense? And that's what makes a calm visit.
Hey, you ain't fooling nobody. This dude high. He high. Look at them eyes. You ain't fooling me. Let me find out you been taking some drugs or something. Your eyes don't look right, Kayne. Your eyes don't look right. But speaking of that, the boy looking pretty sad. He be all right. No, little staples.